Hey guys, I hope that everyone's summer is going fantastic. It's really hard to believe that this is our fourth week out of school already. So, as we're looking forward to our theme of the journey for this upcoming year, we're taking a peek at the journey that Jesus and the disciples went on by reading through the different Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Now, with this, we hope to build some community just through reading together and praying together. And I'll try and throw that up here on the screen so you can see it. But if it's not there, then it will also be in the email. So be sure and still check your school email or whichever you signed up with CCH with. So this week we're going to be taking a look at Matthew 16 through 22. Now this is kind of a high time for Jesus and the disciples. Things are really starting to kick off, and so Jesus has been preaching and performing miracles. He chased a demon out of a little boy. He cured two blind men to give them sight. And then a little bit of a more strange one. He curses a fig tree, but a miracle nonetheless, seeing as we wouldn't be able to do that. And just overall, he's been bringing people closer to him. Um, as well as this, he gets to have a bit of a proud moment for Simon Peter when Simon declares that Jesus is the Son of the living God. And this is something that really hadn't been declared before. So it was kind of groundbreaking to be heard from one of the disciples. And Jesus, you can hear that Jesus is really pleased with him and just has a proud moment. There's also the parable of the unmerciful servant, where the servant begged for his debt to be cleared, but when he went to go to talk to someone who was indebted to him, he had him thrown in prison. Um, and so Jesus tells us that this is how we will be treated unless we also forgive our brothers and sisters who maybe have done something wrong to us. But we have to forgive them from our hearts, not just surface level. And that really stood out to me, just to make sure that we always just keep each other in our hearts, in our minds, and make sure it's not always just about us. Um, and so then Jesus goes on to say maybe a little bit of a more famous line where he says that many who are first will be last, and many who are last will be first. Um, and he shows this through a couple different scenarios. Um, the rich man who is seeking the kingdom of God comes up to him, and he tells Jesus that he's been, um, following all the laws and doing everything right. And Jesus is pleased with that, but he asked him what else he needs to do. And Jesus tells him to sell all of his stuff and come join him on this journey. Um, and the man just gets sad because he doesn't want to do that. And so Jesus says that it's hard for people who put material things first, essentially. Um, it's going to be hard for them to make sure that Christ is the center of their life. And then he also goes on to explain it with the parable of the workers in the vineyard, um, who the manager he hires people throughout the day. So hires some at in the morning, some at noon, and some right at the end of the day, right before they close. Um, but he offers all of them the same wage, and some of the people who showed up early in the morning are disappointed by this because they definitely worked a lot more than those who showed up in the afternoon. Um, but the agreement was made, and the manager just tells them, "Why are you mad at me for being generous to those who came at the end?" Um, and so the workers who came in the morning, they were concerned with um, getting that fair treatment. Um, and so with this, Jesus just goes to show that there's more important things that we should have concerns with. Um, and then one of the really big highlights is Jesus coming to Jerusalem. with his grand entrance when he's riding on a donkey, and just it's a big celebration for a lot of people, which is very cool to see because it's the first time that Jesus has, sort of a big grand entrance. But things didn't go like this throughout all of the chapters. Um, Jesus, this is where he starts to reveal kind of his end game, where he's going to die. He reveals this several times to the disciples, and each time it kind of strikes them because they don't think that it can happen to Jesus, since he is so powerful. Um, Jesus also gets mad when he goes and visits the temple, and he creates quite the spectacle as he goes in and sees what's happening with everyone buying their sacrifice there, and he almost loses a little bit. He goes around and flips all the table and just creates quite a ruckus. Um, but what he was mad about was he wanted his house, this temple, to be a place of prayer. But he says that they made it into a den of thieves, since they were, selling the sacrifices, and it just doesn't go over well with them. Um, and so with this, I hope that you've gotten a little bit out of it, and I would just love to hear what any of you guys have learned through your readings. Um, and I just wanted to give you all a quick reminder for NSC as well. That deadline's approaching quite quickly, and so um, if you're interested in it or want any more information, talk to me, any of the other rep group leaders, or any of the staff as well. So, hope you guys continue to have a good summer, and hope to see you again in the fall.